Ladies and gentlemen, I am SidAlpha. So recently, the paragons of proselytizing over at PETA decided to stick their digital ambulatory digits directly into their pusillanimous cuckolds over the Warhammer 40k franchise's apparent use of fur garments in the grimdark future. You see, PETA, in all of their infinite wisdom, have apparently decided that service to the God Emperor himself doesn't excuse you from humanitarian activism. Indeed, no prayer to the Omnissiah shall ever be sufficient enough to excuse you draping epidermal layers of the Xenos scum that fell to the might of your chainsword or bolter across your shoulders in righteous pride. Such a thing is indeed unconscionable because hurting animals is wrong, and of course because current year. Now, I have no doubt in my mind that PETA will more than likely pull the same line out of their asses that they did when they decided that Pokemon was animal cruelty as well and simply claim that it was a joke and a fun way to raise awareness in spite of statements that have been made like the following. While we appreciate that they are fictional, draping them in what looks like a replica of a dead animal sends the message that wearing fur is acceptable, when in fact it has no more place in 2017 than it would in the year 40,000. Now, for those of you that have not followed my channel for long, or indeed may be tuning into the dulcet tones of my melodious and humble braggadocio vocalizations, I would like to remind you, or in some cases introduce you, to the fact that I am not a friend to activists or activism in general. Mostly, my channel doesn't hear about such things from me directly because I choose to focus my attention on video games and the games industry as a whole. My rant videos also make it readily apparent that I am quite capable of climbing up on my own soapbox and proselytizing the virtues or detractions of the gaming industry on a wide variety of topics at great length and efficacy. However, the vast majority of the time, I prefer to leave it there and not to delve into the realms of politics, religion, activism, or social justice, as it simply is just far too divisive. And to introduce my channel to those elements would be to risk tearing it apart from within. You see, I am aware that I have people of varying age ranges and beliefs on my channel, different religions, creeds, colors, and mindsets. I probably will have Christians and Muslims, as well as Jews and Hindi, and a few others probably all watching this video. All of them having come together to enjoy my videos in general and to celebrate gaming in all of its myriad wonder, and also to deride the things that could potentially harm or damage this magnificent hobby that we all share. And why is that, you might ask, if you were even remotely self-aware PETA executives? Well, because gaming is exactly that, a game. It is for some a diversion and for others a very real escape from the trials and tribulations of the stresses and excesses of a difficult life and world. It's a place where we can find enjoyment and accomplishment. It's even a place where many find and forge friendships and achieve a level of acceptance amongst their peers. It's been used by many with a variety of social anxieties or even handicaps to be able to overcome their limitations and achieve levels of interaction that they simply aren't able to get in the real world. Gaming isn't just about fun for everyone. Sometimes it provides a very clear and real service in the realm of mental health. It is all of this and more with a power-armored dosage of fantasy wish fulfillment and gore-filled bolter-delivered shots to the cranium in a hailstorm of demon-slaughtered fuck yeah with a side of I can't believe I made that shot. And if we're lucky, the publishers won't be too greedy in the process. Now, to sit there and not only complain, but to make demands on Games Workshop to remove the fur from our grimdark 40k future is to show how simply disconnected you are from the medium in which you are poking your animalistically evangelical proboscis, and shows also just how out of touch from reality activist groups like PETA really are. Because something that has been readily apparent to me since I was 6 goddamn years old was the quickest way to piss off a geek or a nerd is to fuck up or to fuck with their hobby or obsession. It's the equivalent of going to stand in line at the new Star Wars movie wearing a fucking Babylon 5 uniform. It just won't fly. It's like wearing a Jar Jar costume, well, really any fucking time. And what you did here, PETA, was the equivalent of doing what I did when Star Wars Episode 1 first came out. There was a line of eagerly waiting fans stretched halfway around the theater, to which I drove by extremely slowly, rolled down my window, yelled with all of my vigorous might, "Star Trek sucks!" To which I actually had fans chase after me in outrage. Once I finally lost the out-of-breath moviegoers, which took all of 10 seconds because fucking cardio, I parked, donned my Jedi robe and yellow lightsaber, and joined the ranks with bated breath. Now, what you are doing here, PETA, benefits no one, and only causes to damage your own standing in the eyes of an extremely large community. I'm not talking about just my channel. I'm talking about tens of millions of people who all think you are a collection of stick-up-the-ass, no-talent clowns who can't be taken seriously. I mean, honestly, the only way you could successfully make an intelligent comparison between the fur being donned in video games, or tabletop figurines for that matter, are to directly draw a comparison between animal cruelty in games and a conscious or subconscious shift within the psyche of gamers that would showcase that such depictions correlate with the subsequent behaviors in gamers. Such as a comparison has been attempted countless times in relation to violence in video games to violence in the real world since the fucking 80s, and this belief is still held true by a remarkable number of lobotomized misfits out in the world, despite the fact that 5 seconds of searching on Google will show that this has been proven to be demonstrably false by countless studies for literally years. Which makes what PETA is doing about as honest and forthright as a politician during an election year. You see, fictional fur does not translate to people thinking that wearing fur is okay, just as Pokemon does not teach our youth that cockfighting is acceptable. These comparisons are scientifically false and have been proven to be for an exceptionally long period of time, which makes what you are doing one of the worst things imaginable to a rational mind. You are ignoring fact and reason, which are showing that your opinions outweigh truth. That what you feel is more important than reality, which, to be fair, is no great surprise coming from an activist organization that decries animal cruelty only to euthanize a large percentage, indeed the vast majority of animals that you have quote-unquote rescued. But hey, that's fine as long as the rest of the world just disregards all of those scientific studies in favor of protecting your feelings, am I right? Because you see, folks, this is why I don't talk about politics or activism or social justice in the vast majority of my videos. Because my views and beliefs almost certainly won't be the views and beliefs that are shared by some, if not many of you. Now, I allow my decisions to be swayed by fact and logic and reason. I will never be a person that allows his decisions to be swayed by how a person feels when it happens to fly in the face of fact. And it is that method of thinking that makes my personality and my thought processes so anathema to modern activists or social justice advocacy groups, and it is why I stick to video games. This is not a political channel. I am not a political person, and I have no desire to be. I'm sure, PETA, that you have no desire for video games to intrude on your activism and your blind faith that you're actually doing good in the world, when in truth, it can be logically and factually demonstrated to be precisely the opposite. So do yourself and all of us a favor and go back to your killing animals in the name of saving them and leave gamers alone. Because if you keep attempting to fuck with us, the most wonderful and wonderfully diverse hobby in the world, you may not like the result. I say this not as a threat, but as a foregone fucking conclusion, because nothing can eradicate the poison that is the all-too-common feels before reals way of thinking than the harsh and unforgiving light of logic and fact. Praise be to the Omnissiah. I am SidAlpha, and I'll see you next time. Hey folks, thanks again for watching. If you're interested in some more reviews or first impressions, feel free to click on the window on the left. If you're interested in news affecting the gaming community, the link on the right will take you to that. If you're interested in staying up to date on what happens with the channel, the links to my Twitter, Facebook, and Reddit pages will be in the description down below. And if you're feeling generous and wish to help improve the quality of the channel, a link to our Patreon will be down in the description as well. It certainly isn't required, but it is appreciated. Also, please don't forget to show your support and hit those subscribe and share buttons, and thanks again for watching. I'll see you next time.